So, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
First of all, I want to thank you all for joining me today, this morning. It's early in the morning, so I really appreciate you're here. Also, I would like to thank Ariel for the invitation. And I'd like to share with you, well, my name is Lena Barrantes, for those who are not my students. I'm a professor here at Pérez Celedón campus, and I've been teaching here for, I would say, like 20 years now. I've been teaching in the English teaching major, in the English associate, and when we had the licenciatura too. So I've been part of this department for a long time. So I also wanted to thank my students from literature class who are here voluntarily. So we have a class today at 8 a.m. So I asked them to be here. So thank you all for joining. So I don't have a presentation per se. What I have is a workshop. So basically the difference between a presentation in a workshop is that I will need you to be more engaged than usual. So I will need your participation. It's a different kind of participation though. So I'll give you some hints of what I expect from you. Also, I wanted to say that I designed somehow this presentation thinking about you students, who we recognize as pre-service teachers. It means that in the future, you're gonna be teachers. Some of you have no experience teaching yet. Some of you have some experience, perhaps in the teaching practicum, or I don't know if you're tutors in a project, Timuna, for example, or if you've been private tutors maybe. So that gives you some experience, but it's okay if you have no experience. I decided to bring this topic to this workshop because I know from my experience teaching in the program that we usually don't have specific space to talk about this topic in any of the courses or in any of the study or the plan of study. So also in my experience as a teacher, even though I've been a language instructor for many years, it was late in my career that I started putting together my teaching philosophy. And somehow I think that it was too late. So I don't want this to happen to you. I want you to have clear what a teaching philosophy is, how you can construct it, how can you work on it early in your career. So the title of this presentation is My Teaching Philosophy. So that's the question, right? Because sometimes we're asked, what is your teaching philosophy? And we don't know what to answer. And then also important, why? Why do I need a teaching philosophy? And then how? How can I craft my teaching philosophy? So by the end of this workshop, I hope that all of you, if you're paying enough attention, you'll be able to reflect on and articulate your beliefs about teaching and learning and where they come from, very important. Also, that you're gonna be able to make connections between your beliefs and specific teaching learning strategies. And finally, to outline ideas for drafting your teaching philosophy statement. So that is my expectation. I know that what we have is an hour, right, Ariel? Is it an hour? Yeah, I take that as a yes. Okay, so what I was telling you at the beginning, this workshop requires your active engagement, but it looks in two different colors. The yellow color requires your individual reflection and your self-questioning. So that is a process for you, your process. And perhaps if we have enough time, we're gonna be able to brainstorm and share. But I just want you to know that I don't want you to share something that you don't feel comfortable sharing. So please feel free to share what you wanna share, what you feel it's okay to share. Uh, but I don't want you to feel like they're on the spot and that you have to have all the answers. Because I understand that individual reflection and most importantly, self-questioning are really hard processes, especially when we are young and especially when we are studying a career. A program like you, when you're completing your program, you have a career ahead still. So I understand that this is a little bit, at least not easy, but my invitation for you today is to start pushing yourself a bit more and start reflecting a bit more and self-questioning everything around you. Now, I will also ask you to have at hand or to bring a piece of paper, pencil, and eraser. I know that you may say, I mean, come on, why do we need a piece of paper if we are in the digital era, right? So everything is digital, everything is on the computer, and then you have those amazing apps. However, something that I wanted to point out is the powerful effect of writing down, taking notes, handwriting. Neurologists have shown that the benefits are many when we are a student, and the benefits are many as human beings. In fact, even psychologists recommend to keep a journal, a gratitude journal. So where you write down, not you don't type, you just write down notes. So why? I've been always intrigued by this idea of the effect of handwriting, because I know that I'm from the old school. So I know that handwriting is from the old school, but it had really positive effects in my memory skills and in my learning skills. So that's something that I want to share with you. So I was reading this article titled The Case of Handwriting, and it showed that in 2014, there was a study that found that college students, that it's people like you, who took notes by hand, demonstrated better conceptual understanding and memory of the material than students who took notes using a laptop. So this was an experiment, and it proved to be effective, handwriting. So that's what I want you to do today. So that's the challenge. Don't use your computer. Use a piece of paper like in the old times, my times, and take notes. Those notes are going to be for you. As I said, I designed this workshop in a way like if you follow, there's a sequence. If you follow every single step, then at the end, you're going to have the whole picture of a teaching philosophy. So my recommendation is let's go little by little, taking notes, writing down, drawing. And at the end, this piece of paper will tell you, it will be like a mirror for you, for your teaching philosophy. And even if you say, well, I don't need a teaching philosophy, okay, but at least you will see like this questioning and this reflection will help you understand yourself a little bit better. Yourself as a student, as a as a future teacher, and as a person too. So that is quite interesting. I also wanted to share that in our context, let's say that in Costa Rica, having a teaching philosophy statement, it's more a personal goal. It's more of an process for you, because no one asks you to do one. Only, I mean, I'm doing this today because of the workshop, but it's not a requirement in usually in any program or to get a job, or, I mean, it's just for you. However, in countries like Australia, the United States, England, and Canada, writing the teaching philosophy statement is a must whenever you're going to apply for a job. This is the first thing that they're going to ask you to show them, and because they're going to see you through this statement, through this philosophy. I know that the word philosophy may sound like a fancy, right, word or complicated word, but we will see that it's way more, or it's a simple term, okay? But it has a huge, a deep understanding behind. So what is a teaching philosophy statement? So what is it in general terms? So this statement communicates three questions or three ideas: the what, the why, the how. First, the what your fundamental values and beliefs are about your teaching learning. Then also why you hold these values and beliefs. In this part, literature or readings, let's say, are important, but also your personal experience. And then a teaching philosophy statement also communicates how you now, but since you're not, most of you are not teachers, in your future, how will you translate these values and beliefs into your teaching and learning practice with the context of your discipline? So right now, I would like to ask you to write in the chat box, what is your level in the program? Are you in the second, third, or fourth year? Just for me to have an idea. So I see a lot of second year students and third year students. So where are my fourth year students? They're not here. Okay.
They didn't come.
No, they're here. They're there now.
Just,
no pressure.
just Sarah, actually, I think so.
No pressure. Yeah. Okay. So that's, we have a varied audience, right? Second, third, and fourth year. So as I was saying, it's great for me to know that second year students and third year students are getting this information today, because that's gonna help you a lot in future years. And also that we have fourth year students who have already some experience in the teaching practicum. So again, a teaching philosophy statement says what your values and beliefs. So we translate philosophy into those two main concepts, values and beliefs. So what is a belief? A belief is an opinion that we accept as true or real. Okay, and it is subjective because it depends on the way you see reality and the way you see your real world. Okay, so as I said, there's no right answer here. It depends on the way you see the world. Now, why? Why do I need a teaching philosophy? Why, if I'm only a student? Okay, or why do I need a teaching philosophy if my teachers or my professors are not asking me to write one? Or let's say that my future employer, or maybe MEP, or any other institution you're planning to work, they are not asking me to write one. Okay, I identified some important benefits. The first one is that your teaching philosophy reveals your roots to yourself. It makes visible to you what is invisible. And this, understanding your roots and understanding your history, your background, where you're from, what you know, gives you a strong and clear professional identity. When you have a clear professional identity, then decisions are easier to make. Decisions about what strategies you want to take or adapt in the classroom, decisions about the material that you're going to use, decisions about the type of environment you want to create with your students, even decisions about where you want to find a job. Where would you like to get a job? Also important is that without a teaching philosophy, you are at lost somehow. When you are at lost as a professional, you may experience stress because you don't understand why you're doing the things you're doing. And you don't find a connection between what you are doing and what the institution or the school is asking you to do. It also causes some anxiety, this uncertainty of not knowing why I'm doing what I'm doing, or why do I have to do this, or why do I feel so uncomfortable asking students to do this and this. Also, I don't know if you have heard about the burned out phenomenon, which is this phenomenon with teachers just drain, right? They, as the word says, they're burned, they're tired, they don't want to be a teacher anymore. And many of the causes behind this is this lack of identity, this lack of understanding. Why am I a teacher? Why do I want to be a teacher? What do I want? I want to continue being a teacher. If you have your teaching philosophy clear, those decisions and those ideas are going to be, as I said, visible for you. Without a teaching philosophy, you have an unclear path ahead. So you don't know what your future is. You don't know what to expect from you, from your profession. So basically, we need a teaching philosophy to be a sound teacher, a sound professional, to make visible our future, our present, and also to understand why we're making decisions and why I'm going against the odds, why I'm feeling uncomfortable, why I don't want to be here, why I don't feel this connection with my students or with the institution, with the principal, with my colleagues. Okay. Now I'm gonna guide you through an exercise. This exercise is about critical incidents in your life, teaching and learning life, right? So don't worry. I'm not a psychologist, so I'm not going that deep. So what I'm asking you to do now, first, remember to keep your piece of paper at hand. But I'm going to give you some, I'm going to keep track of time here. And I'm going to give, I guess that we have enough time, the way I organize time. I'm going to give you a minute. I want you, first of all, to close your eyes. If that is the only way to help your mind remember or to bring those memories. So close your eyes wherever you are. Take a deep breath. And please follow what I'm going to be reading. Picture in your mind's eye a time when you have a good day in a class. It could be a class where you were a learner or a teacher or a tutor. Picture that day. Picture a time when you felt inspired, when you were happy, when you were excited about that class. Bring back how that felt to you. What were those feelings? Picture yourself with your classmates and teacher. Think about what was happening. Where were you? What was the teacher doing? What were you doing? What were your classmates doing? Okay, now in the piece of paper that you have, on this piece of paper, please take notes, okay? Think of, you don't have to write a paragraph, maybe just list ideas about what was happening that good day, that glorious day where you felt happy about learning or teaching. Try to identify the physical environment and also the emotional environment. Who were there? Okay, now we're going to continue. This is about another critical incident. I want you again to close your eyes, and I'm going to give you a minute while I read this. And I want you to picture in your mind's eye a time when you have, or you had, sorry, an ineffective day in a class. A time when you felt frustrated, when you felt angry, sad. Bring back how that felt to you, and let's do the same thing. Picture yourself with your classmates and teacher. What was happening there? Try to identify what was the setting? What was this uncomfortable feelings? What was happening that made you feel frustrated? How can you identify this frustration? Why? Why was that a bad day in a class? Remember again that you can take the role of a learner or of a teacher, tutor, whatever. But just try to identify what is frustrating for you in a classroom environment. Okay, thank you very much. So I hope that you have this exercise again. Take notes, try to list the feelings, the words, the people, what happened there, so that we can continue. So as I said, this is a self-reflection for you. So keep it for you. I'm not asking you to share this terrible day or this glorious day. Those experiences or incidents are for you. They're gonna help you understand a bit more about your values and beliefs. Now, also you need your piece of paper, and we're gonna do the suitcase exercise. So let's imagine you are on a journey, and you are on a journey. You are on a teaching journey that you started the day you started your program, either 2 years ago, 3 years ago, or 4 years ago. So for this teaching journey, you need to put in your suitcase 3 things. Could be 3 talents, 3 skills, or 3 strengths you have. Okay? I understand that sometimes we don't have these talents clear in our lives. Perhaps what you could do is think about what people have told you you're good at. So maybe someone, you may say, like, I don't have any talent. Well, we all have talents. As I said, some of them are invisible because we haven't discovered them yet. Or skills then, or strengths. So you may say, well, people have told me that I'm really responsible. My classmates have told me that I'm really responsible. Or perhaps my mom has told me I am organized. Okay. I understand, I know that identifying our weaknesses is way easier because that's something that we hear on a daily basis. But in here, it's about our talents. So I would like to ask somebody, anyone in the room, would you like to share what you have in your suitcase?
Discipline,
Okay.
responsibility, and patience.
Well, good for you. For sure, we need to be patient, right? Teachers need to be patient. Thank you. Somebody else?
I have leadership, good listener, and responsible.
Great, yeah. Leadership. Being a leader is part of being a teacher, right? A teacher is the leader of the class, the leader of a classroom. A teacher can also be the leader of colleagues and even the institution. Great. One last person?
Well, I wrote, I am resilient, I love helping others, and I am responsible.
Great. So you have this service, right? Helping others is this service calling. And I guess that we are educators because we have this calling to serve, because it's not about the money, right? We're not getting rich being a teacher. So it's about service. Thank you. Now we're going to continue with this individual reflection. And now here you will have to take notes. This individual reflection is not easy, but we need to do it. So I'm going to be asking those questions. You are going to be asking those questions for yourself, and you're going to write down the answers. So the first question says, what does it mean to be a good teacher? What we're doing here is mapping out your beliefs about teaching. So from your perspective, as I said, there's no right answer. It's about what you believe and what you value in a teacher. What does it mean to be a good teacher for you? So plain words, you will say, a good teacher is someone who does this, 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 and you can list. Sorry. Okay, then question number 2 says, what does good teaching look like in my discipline? So when we talk about discipline, we're talking about EFL language, EFL teaching and learning. So your discipline is very specific, being an English as a foreign language instructor. Also, our discipline is education. You're going to be educators. But so you can either think about education per se or EFL language instruction. So what does good teaching look like from that lens?
Then in this one is about what I believe or
No, what you believe.
Okay, what the discipline says, because that is different.
Okay, well, you can explain that later.
Okay.
But yeah, in here it's about you. So what do you think this teaching in our discipline look like? But then also, well, we will see this later, but yeah. Remember that the teaching philosophy is about you. Obviously, you are in a context.
Remember that teacher philosophy is about
But
you. Remember, the teacher philosophy is about
I think that's Aaron. I can recognize it. No? No. I thought it was his voice. Okay. And then the last question, and I guess that this one is easier for you because you're learners right now. What does it mean to be a good language learner? I guess that I skipped the word language here. What does it mean to be a good language learner for you? Do you have the answers? You need a little bit more time.
I'm done with mine.
Good, you're good, Nela. Okay, perfect. Okay, now we're going to move to the self-questioning part, which is a little bit more challenging because it involves people around us. Okay, so remember that no one is going to read this yet. So the first question says, so remember your answers, previous answers, right? From the previous questions. Now you have to ask yourself. So what is the idea of questioning? Question is, when you question something is when you raise a doubt. Okay, when you stop taking for granted something and start questioning, doubting. So what's happening here? So question 1 says, who or what has most informed my beliefs about teaching and learning? And when it says most informed, it's like who has most influenced to you? So why do you think you believe what you believe? I cannot help you answer this question because you have the answer. So let's say that someone said that being a good teacher is to be patient. Okay. So now you have to start thinking, why, who, what has informed my belief about this idea that a teacher should be patient. If let's say that you answer that a good language teacher is someone who is perfect native like, right? That has native like everything, language use, right? Grammar, pronunciation, everything. So if you think that a good teacher must be native like, okay, so think about who or what has informed this belief of mine. So in this case, you have to start searching around your circle, your context. Question number 2 says, what 3 key beliefs do I hold about teaching and learning? So remember that beliefs are opinions that we accept, that we think are true, are real. So you need 3. And in this case, about language teaching and learning. Okay, now we're moving on. And the last question says, what matters most to me? What is it? What is the most important belief, value, idea, whatever, regarding language teaching and learning? Okay, so before we move on the how, now we have the what, right? Which are, let me see, answering the questions about, let me see here, your beliefs. Yeah. Now this section, self-questioning, is about the why. Why do you believe what you believe? We need to move on the how. How can we just put together the teaching philosophy? But before we go there, I would like some people to share your 3 key beliefs about language teaching and learning. Remember that there are no right answers. Thank you, Marianela. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Should I answer only question number 1?
No, only question number 2. Sorry.
Number 2.
Your 3 key beliefs. Mhm.
Okay, it's kind of hard to choose only 3, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna mention just 3 of them. For me, it's important to evolve and improve as a teacher. Then I believe in communication and interaction. And number 3, I believe in striving to be updated in terms of teaching. Thank you.
Thank you, Marianela. I really like the way you said, I believe in, because this is the idea, right? I believe in gives you this statement that those are my beliefs. I know that it's the same word, but when you say the verb believe, it gives a strong voice to what and you listen to it and you get internalize it and it gets stronger and visible to you. Thank you, Marianela. Professor Sandy. And somebody else would like to share those powerful statements I believe in?
Can I?
Sure.
Well, I have 3. Teaching is about people. Work on the process, not the results. And teaching a language should respect cultural identity.
Great. Yeah. Thank you, Ariel. Those are also really powerful and deep statements. Thank you. I would like to hear from students. Go ahead, Valerie. I know you want to. But I know that you have something.
Yeah, I have something, but I'm not sure. That's what came to my mind when I talked about the kids. Okay, I wrote that, well, we don't know everything and that teachers are a guide. However, they also learn from their students, from their experiences. And when I learn something new, that makes me realize that I won't ever stop learning. That's what, I don't know, like we continue learning and we learn every day.
That's what we, theory calls that lifelong learning. And that's a characteristic that we all teachers should have, right? There's a phrase that says, one who dares to teach must never cease to learn. So which is the idea of lifelong learning. Marianela, would you like to say something?
I would like to hear what Joel thinks about this. Joel?
Okay, Joel, go ahead. It was your professor,
are you here?
not me.
Joel, are you here?
Probably
or
not.
Brandon?
Yeah,
There you are, Joel. Thank you.
maybe teacher will listen to the student and also who can, I don't know, maybe try to improve every day. Well, maybe who can teach simply but very clear, I think.
Giving clear explanations. Sometimes we take for granted something so simple like giving clear instructions. And you as learners know what a nightmare is when your professor or teacher doesn't give you clear instructions, right? So yeah. I also like the idea, what he mentioned about being a listener, good listener. I guess that Valerie, well, I don't know who said that also, like, no, being a good listener. We live in a world where we don't listen to other people. We don't listen to others. We are just in a noisy world that it's always telling us what to do, what the world expects from us. But then listening to others has become even a weakness, right? For some people, a weakness. So we teachers truly need to start listening to our students, or to have these deep listening skills. So thank you very much. We're gonna move on to the how. Okay, how do I write my teaching philosophy? So I outline here some basic steps, like that can give you an idea of how it should look like. So first thing is that it is not a 10-page paper. It could be a 1 or a 2-page document. It's no longer than this usually. You need to use first person, narrative, reflective, and authentic voice. Because remember that this is yours, okay? This is for you, from you. Sorry, not for you, from you. It should be grounded in discipline, and that in here, I'm gonna be answering Ariel's question, okay? When he mentioned, what about what theory or experts say I have to be doing regarding EFL teaching and learning. Our discipline is a discipline, right? What we do is a discipline. So we have to ground what we're writing in this discipline. So it's always important to include somehow theory that backs up what you think. So right now I'm thinking about what Ariel said. Ariel mentioned that EFL teaching and learning should be mindful and should consider identity and culture. Okay, so when he's crafting and writing his teaching philosophy statement, then why not including a strong quote that backs up this idea? Okay, it's always important to include metaphors or critical incidents as a way in to catch the attention, or also like to set a case, your case. So you can start with a metaphor, like if you would like to compare your teaching statement or your career with a tree that gives shades and is strong, whatever, or a river that flows, or the sun that shines and lights, or a candle that lights the way for others, something like this. Metaphors are great. If you don't like metaphors, then you can think of the critical incidents that we did the exercise at the beginning, remember? So those incidents are important for you. So why are they important? So I like to share here that it was not for my teaching philosophy statement, but it was for my dissertation. I started my dissertation with a critical incident in my life, which is that I love participating in conferences, but it's a conflicting feeling because I like to participate and I like to share my work, but I hate public speaking. So minutes before I start presenting in a conference, I just want to disappear. And I start questioning myself, why am I here? Why am I doing this if I hate public speaking? And I get anxious, I get physically sick because I hate that. But once the presentation is over and I see that people reacted positively to my presentation, then I say, okay, where's the next one? So it's a cycle, it never ends. But then it has helped me understand that I love professional development, right? That I like to be exposed in this way because I like to share my work. Then what I have to do is to work on my anxiety, but that's a different story. But then it is this questioning always, right? Like, why am I doing this? Okay, there's a reason behind. And that has helped me understand myself and my teaching career and the decisions that I make. Sometimes it's not really smart, but okay. Life is.
You like pain.
Okay. Then also important, connected to the idea of grounded in discipline, and that's why they're together. You can link your work to scholarly literature, and that speaks to the why, okay? Again, include literature. Obviously, if you're going to include something, if you're going to think about why do I think that being patient is important? So patience talks about, maybe I see Professor Olivares here, that she's an expert in emotional intelligence. So why is it important also, even to be a good listener, to create this atmosphere in the classroom? So think about it, really include an expert here that can even guide you, not to show how smart you are and not to show how smart this expert is, but to even to make visible to you who's an expert that aligns with your way of thinking. And then also something super important is to always remember that your teaching philosophy statement and your career is always evolving. It never stops. It's a process. We change. It's dynamic. So remember the theories in the course didactics, where you have to read about the evolution of the methodologies from grammar translation to total physical response to communicative and now the TBI and all. There's an evolution. So the same way language teaching and learning has evolved, with language teachers are expected to evolve. Okay. So this is basically how the typical flow. You start with your beliefs. What do you think? Remember the 3 beliefs that you have. Then the strategies. What do you do? What is it that you do that align with these beliefs? I have material for you. I forgot to tell you that I created a handout that I'm going to be sharing with you that has all these exercises that we have or that you have been completing, and then some extra help with this. Also the impact. So what is the effect on the learners, on myself, on my colleagues, of those decisions that I make? And also, what are my future goals? How would you improve? How are you planning to improve? Are you planning to attend conferences? Are you planning to attend events like this? Are you planning to read journals? Are you planning to follow experts on academia to be updated? So you need a plan, okay? And everything summarizes in a chart like this, where you can, this is how we can start. This is like the map. On the column that says beliefs, you write your 3 beliefs, 1, 2, 3. But then you start connecting those beliefs with strategies. So if your belief is like Ariel, what he said about language and culture. So what is a strategy that you use? How do you put this belief into practice? What is it that you do exactly? Okay, maybe Ariel can say, well, I bring a group discussion, and I bring this specific technique to develop some questioning about culture. Or I bring videos about Costa Rican culture. Okay, so to make a connection between English and I mean, just making up ideas, right? So strategies are what you do in the class, but they have to be connected. Now, since most of you are not teachers yet, you can start planning, like, how can I do this? Even if you don't have any experience, you can complete this chart, this map, by predicting or by thinking about brainstorming what are your options. Then you can think of the impact. How do I evaluate the effectiveness and impact of my teaching strategies? And finally, how do I hope to continue and to continue to improve and grow? I'm going to share with you, let me see if I can, okay, so I'm going to go back to this later, but I wanted to share the document. So you can read the document, right? So here, as I said, I'm sharing the activities, but then I'm also including this chart that is more specific. It mentions the beliefs about teaching and learning, but then a set of questions. Like if you answer them all, then you get these questions, this section ready. About teaching strategies and strengths, again, if you go one by one answering those questions, then you get a paragraph, right? So that's easy to follow. I guess, yeah, and I have the chart here for you also. Then I guess that those are the references that I used for this presentation. Those are the scholarly works that I used for reference. And thank you very much. I don't know if we have time for questions, but I'd like to share a questionnaire for you, Google form. It's in the chat box that I will love if you can complete it. It's just one question. So please, I love to hear from you. I don't know if you have any question or any comment or a specific. Yes, Marianela?
Well, at first, thank you so much for this enriching workshop. As you said at the beginning, we are not taught about this in a very direct way, I would say, because just as it happened to you, after several years of teaching, I would say after 10 years or 12 years, not 10 years, I thought of having my own teaching philosophy, but it was just because, right? And I would love to know, I would like to know if you have an example of a real, I forgot how it's called, of a teaching philosophy statement that you can share with me, because I would love to see an actual document like that, because I really love the topic and I would like to incorporate this in the didactic courses that I teach in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Nela, for your encouraging words. I'm glad that you liked the topic, and I also like the idea that you agree with me on the importance of teaching philosophy. I can share mine. I can share my teaching philosophy because I wrote one when I was preparing my admission papers for the PhD program, and then I rewrote it when I finished, because they in my doctoral program they asked me to, so I can share mine. I'll send it to you. That one is a little bit more, I mean, longer, a little bit longer, yeah. As you may imagine.
It is a book.
No. It's just, I guess that it's one page or page and a half. And thank you, Professor Olivares, for your comment. I know that it's that was my intention to bring something for our students, for our future teachers, to give you a sense of identity too.
Thank you, Professor Lena.
Thank you, Ariel, for the invitation.
Remind me my days as a student. No, I'm just kidding. And also, it's like I was thinking about why we do not discuss this in our classes. I mean, why we don't have this in our programs. Somehow it is kind of systematic, I would say, because I mean, because this is the soul of the teacher. Mm-hmm. It means that we are teaching without our soul. Mm-hmm. I mean, we are just following the guidelines. We're just doing what we are asked to do. So I guess it's really important to discuss this, because somehow it let us know that we have a soul, and whatever mm-hmm. we go to the class, we take that with us, and we should think about it. We should know what we're doing. We should mm-hmm. know what we believe, because if we don't know it at the end, what we're going to do is we're going to follow the path. We're going to go with the flow, and I've been like gravitating about that idea of, is this just something that happens, or mm-hmm. is it planned or not? I used to question all those mm-hmm. things. But thank you for this space, mm-hmm. and thank you for all the people who
I guess that's a good question for all of us professors. So why we are not doing this, right? Sometimes we just replicate what has been done, and we don't question where in the curriculum I can put this. I remember that for last year, I was teaching the writing workshop, and I included this educational biography, which was a similar process, right? Maybe the students who are here and went through this process. Oh. It's a space to reflect. So I guess that, yeah, we should find a way. There's always room, I guess. There's always room to include those type of activities. Someone says that my form doesn't work. So I'm just copying.
What do you want to say?
Yeah. Oh, no. No, I don't know if it is yours, Ariel, because mine has some answers already. So probably
Mine
it's
works.
yours. Attendance, Ariel.
Yeah, maybe. But if it is not working, I cannot do anything because
Okay, so.
I'm just allowed to share it, and that's it. I'm not the owner, so I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I also want to finish by inviting everyone to participate in a workshop at 10 a.m. about self-care. I know that Ariel is organizing another one, but I'm inviting you to go to mine, okay? Not Ariel's.
Yeah. I'm gonna set that. Don't worry, because I have too many people anyway.
I guess. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be there after, maybe YouTube. So thank you, everyone. And I hope that you keep this piece of paper, the notes that you took for previous reflection.
Thank you so much.
Future
Thank
reflection,
you very
sorry.
much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.